Good afternoon everyone and welcome back to another little Tenerife news update or Canary Islands news update. If you are new to the channel, I am Andrew, I do live here in Tenerife, and if you are returning, welcome back. I've got a few little things to run through, especially as regards to Tenerife here. You may have seen by the thumbnail that we have got a bit of a forest fire going on, so I'm going to give you all the information about that. Will it affect your holiday? Getting various questions coming through about it, how you might be able to help as well. And a few other little bits to run through as regards to COVID rates and other little tips and advice. So I'm going to jump into it and get through this little news update with you. So starting off with the forest fire, you might have already seen this in the news. They have ramped it up now to a level 2. That means that the Canary Islands government is now involved in trying to fight it. They've drafted in someone to manage it, a few other extra troops as well. There's currently 10 helicopters and I think a few seaplanes as well trying to fight it. They're dropping huge tanks of water over the area, especially the area where it could spread to. They're dampening that area to try and stop the spread. You may see, if you're here in Tenerife, you will probably see the helicopters are flying back and forth all day long with huge buckets underneath. I'll throw up some pictures on the screen. They come out over the ocean. Normally a big electronic pump comes and sucks up the water, the seawater, and then they fly it over and drop it over the area, very strategically over the area that they want to spread the water to. It did start yesterday about 10:30 in the morning and it has continued to rage on. Thankfully, weather conditions have meant it hasn't spread too much. They do worry that if the wind changes, it could be pushed on. They've evacuated everyone in the area. No homes have been affected so far. No one's been hurt. No one's been killed or anything like that, thankfully. But fingers crossed they will get it under control. It's just so dry and hot here at the moment that any tiny little spark can start a forest fire like that. They are investigating as to whether it was intentional. I certainly hope not. If you do want to help out, there is a voluntary fire service over here. They are called the Bomberos. They've got a Facebook page if you want to donate to them. Help them buy equipment, various things like that. As I said, they are volunteers. I will leave the link to that in the description if you do want to help them out. And a huge shout out to them, because even stood right here now, it's very dry. I'm even by the beach. I've got a sea breeze and it's still about 30 degrees. It is melting hot. So for them up in the hills there, fighting a fire in those big suits, they must be swelteringly hot. So a big shout out to them and how fast they've been active as well. I saw the helicopters flying over yesterday morning almost straight away. They were right on it. So credit to them. Let's hope they get it under control. So far it basically is. They've got everyone out. They're just hoping that the wind doesn't spread it any further. The way that how dry the landscape is here, it's so easy to spread. Everything is just so dry and flammable. Away it goes. If you are over, little tips, make sure you do put out your cigarettes properly no matter where you are. I've seen even a few bins catch fire over the years in Los Cristianos, where people have put a cigarette in the bin. Just make sure you put your cigarettes out properly. If you're going to do a little beach barbecue, I think most places have got a ban on them at the moment, but if you're going to do a little barbecue, make sure you do it properly, extinguish everything, because the way our landscape is right now and the heat, it's very easy to cause a fire. As I say, I will put the pictures up on the screen. There is no effect over here in the south in terms of people coming on holiday. There's no smoke in the area. We've got a Kalima in, which is why it's quite hazy, but there's no smoke or smell of smoke. I've had a few messages asking about it. So no effects on the airports either, because if the wind does blow that smoke over the airports, then obviously planes can be affected. But at the moment, there is no effect. It's just fingers crossed for them fighting it out there, can get it under control. I mean, the pictures they look quite bad with the smoke blowing out, but thankfully the smoke is blowing out to sea, which is good. And other little bits of news as regards to travel and flights. Ryanair has reached an agreement for 5 years until March 2027 with its pilots. That's in Spain and France. They've agreed to pay them back to the pre-pandemic levels, which is rightly so. They're flying again, busy. However, there's no agreement with the cabin crew, so those strikes will still go ahead that they've got planned, those Spanish cabin crew. However, they don't affect any of the Canary Islands so far. It is all the hubs that they have in mainland Spain that are affected. So that's the likes of Barcelona, Ibiza, some of the others are affected. I will list all those now. If you travel into mainland Spain and not to the Canary Islands, then you will just bear this in mind. You could have delays or possible cancellations, so just do bear this in mind. Those airports are Madrid, Barcelona, Girona, Malaga, Seville, Valencia, Alicante, Santiago de Compostela, Palma and Ibiza. So if you're travelling to any of those, bear in mind, especially if you're travelling with Ryanair, you could face delays or cancellations, so just consider that. Next, as regards to travel again, Brits using e-gates at Spanish airports may need additional documents. Now, I ran through this in the last couple of updates. I have mentioned these, that they are now allowing Brits in the busy airports in Spain to use the e-gates. E-gates are technically only for EU passengers and EU passport holders, but they are allowing Brits to use them. So you will scan your passport, go through the e-gate, it'll take your fingerprint and a picture, and then they stamp your passport afterwards. However, they are reminding people they've updated the Foreign Commonwealth Office website and the information given for UK travellers, and they are advising that you may need some extra documents to show. You may have to show a booking confirmation, proof of address if visiting their own property, and also possibly need to show an onward ticket, or that they've got enough money to fund their stay. So bear that in mind. It's very unlikely, but you could be asked to show that you've got those. It is a requirement to have enough money to cover your stay, or show you basically a booking confirmation is enough. If you've got a package holiday or something like that, your Jet2 confirmation would be enough. It's very unlikely, but you could. It's a possibility. If they wanted to be fussy, they could ask you for it. So bear that in mind. On to COVID, obviously it's the word everyone wants to forget about. No one wants me to talk about it, but it's got to be done. It is still slightly on the rise. Hospitalisations for COVID have grown by 14.8% in the Canary Islands in the last week. The number of people hospitalised for COVID in the Canary Islands has increased by basically 15%. The report from the Ministry of Health shows that 527 people are in hospital for coronavirus, whereas on the July 12th there was 459 patients. It also shows that there are 11 more patients in intensive care since last Tuesday, and that there have been 21 deaths in the last week, so it is slightly on the rise. That's how they measure it over here now, is by the ICU beds, the pressure on the hospitals. There's no restrictions, no extra restrictions in place. The WHO have recommended wearing masks in enclosed places, but that's nothing really to do with Spain. That's a personal choice. You do still have to wear them in taxis and on buses. So it's been on the rise, all over Europe. I wouldn't let it put you off or anything like that, but it's just something to bear in mind. And those levels are just indicators of how much COVID risk there is on certain islands. So it is still slightly on the rise. Do still look after yourselves. It's going to be something we have to live with now, but it's got to be mentioned. I know a lot of you want me to just forget about it, but a lot of people, they still could be vulnerable. They've got to know. Still look after yourself when you come over. Still enjoy yourself, but still take those little precautions, especially if you are some of the vulnerable ones. In terms of general news, I've been out and about, eating in a few restaurants, filming a few vlogs. They're still very busy. We're about to see a whole load of Brits arriving next week. A lot of the kids are finishing today, tomorrow, the beginning of next week, so we're going to see a lot of arrivals of Brits on the island, which is fantastic. As I say in every update, make sure you book everything in advance. If you want to do anything, do bear that in mind. Something else that I want to mention is, of course, I warned in the last video, I'm going to warn about it again for any of you who are coming over. Look after yourselves, look after your wallets, your phones. People are getting pickpocketed every single day, and there's been a few robberies, different little things going on. Same everywhere, same all over Europe, but this is just your reminder, wherever you're going, whichever island it is, there's pickpockets around, there's people who want to rob your apartment if you leave it, you leave your door open or something. There's people who want to rob the items from inside your car. If you want to leave rucksacks and stuff on the back seat, bear in mind you're taking a risk. People will have a look, smash the window, take your stuff. We're very, very tourist orientated over here, so it's a hot spot for them because they know so many people are on holiday. They're all in holiday mode, relaxed, having a nice time, and they switch off and they know that they can take advantage of that. So just be very, very careful out and about. Only take cash out with you, or a card, If you want to take your wallet, be careful where it is. Maybe get one of those money belts. They're really cheap on Amazon. Just look after yourselves. You don't want your wallet getting stolen or your phone getting stolen to ruin your holiday, which it has done to quite a few people. I see the little, people post on the Facebook groups, various Tenerife groups on Facebook with their stories about it. We had some unfortunate viewers of the channel in our Facebook group, the KnightStrider fan group. Lovely old couple. He was even an ex-policeman, and three young lads on some scooters did rob them and punched him and took his phone and his wallet. So just be very, very careful. If you don't want to risk walking anywhere late at night, jump in a taxi for the extra 5-10 quid. Just get yourself home safe, and there's always going to be opportunists around. So that's my warning for you. Just be careful. Come to Tenerife, have an amazing time. If you haven't booked, make sure you do. But same goes for everywhere. Just look after yourselves on holiday. And that is going to be it from me. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, please do hit the thumbs up. I will leave the information in the description as regards to the forest fire, the few news articles, and also how you can donate and follow the Facebook page and help them out if you want to. They are doing an amazing job there, and it costs a lot of money to keep all the equipment and everything going and up to date for emergencies like this. So if you want to do that, good on you. The link will be in the description. And thank you very much for watching. Stride on, and I will be back next week with a little update. Let's hope they tackle this fire and it's a job done next week. Stride on, guys.